When it comes to buying an SUV, not every option on the lot is worth your money. Some models look flashy or promise features, but in reality they cost more to own, break down more often, or just don't make sense for most drivers. In this list, we're highlighting 12 SUVs that too many people still choose, even though smarter buyers would walk away. From inflated prices to questionable reliability, these are the vehicles you should think twice about before signing any papers. Number 12. GMC Acadia. The GMC Acadia carries a price tag starting around $38,000, and for many, it feels like a heavy investment for what it delivers. On the road, it doesn't offer anything close to the reliability expected in its segment. Frequent reports of engine issues, transmission glitches, and electronics malfunctions make it a frustrating choice for daily driving. When you compare it to other midsize SUVs, it struggles to justify its cost, often costing more in repairs than owners anticipate. Fuel efficiency is mediocre, which adds more dollars out of your pocket over time, especially for families who plan on regular road trips or daily commutes. Buyers seeking a dependable SUV quickly learn that maintenance visits come sooner and more often than expected. For those prioritizing long-term reliability, lower repair costs, and strong resale, the Acadia is a vehicle that misses the mark. The combination of a higher price and persistent mechanical concerns makes it clear why it falls under the SUV's only stupid people buy category. Despite GMC's branding and attempts at style, the practical reality is harsh and the numbers don't lie. For anyone shopping in 2026 with their dollars in mind, this is an SUV that demands caution. Number 11. Kia Sorento. The Kia Sorento enters 2026 with a starting price hovering around $34,000, and that alone raises eyebrows when you look at its long-term track record. On the surface, it markets itself as practical and family-friendly, but ownership tells a different story. Reliability has been a recurring concern, with many owners reporting engine problems, electrical faults, and transmission complaints earlier than expected. These are not rare cases, they show up often enough to hurt confidence. For an SUV in this price range, repair costs add up quickly. Warranty coverage may help at first, but once that safety net fades, many drivers face bills that feel out of line with what they paid up front. The Sorento also struggles with resale value. After a few years, its market worth drops faster than rivals, which means lost dollars when it is time to sell or trade. On the road, the Sorento fails to feel solid or dependable, especially on longer drives. Suspension and drivetrain complaints are common, and that hurts trust, which is the one thing an SUV should never lose. When you stack the price, reliability concerns, and weak resale together, the Kia Sorento fits perfectly into the SUV's only stupid people buy theme. For 2026 buyers watching their dollars, the Kia Sorento proves that a decent price tag means nothing when reliability keeps letting you down. Number 10. Hyundai Santa Fe. The Hyundai Santa Fe for 2026 starts at roughly $36,000, and that price puts it squarely in a zone where buyers expect strong reliability. That expectation is where the problem begins. Over the years, the Santa Fe has built a mixed reputation for dependability, with recurring complaints tied to engine failures, transmission hesitation, and electrical problems that appear far too early in ownership. These are not cheap fixes, and once the warranty period cools off, repair bills can climb fast. From a long-term ownership view, the Santa Fe struggles to hold value. Depreciation hits hard, which means thousands of dollars vanish when it is time to sell or trade. For an SUV aimed at practical buyers, that loss stings. Fuel efficiency also fails to impress, adding steady extra cost month after month. Combined with rising maintenance needs, total ownership cost often ends up much higher than buyers plan for. On the road, the Santa Fe does not feel as durable as it should. Many owners report issues that show up before 100,000 miles, which is unacceptable at this price level. When reliability becomes a question mark, trust disappears, and trust is everything in an SUV meant for daily use. This is why the Hyundai Santa Fe fits cleanly into the SUV's only stupid people buy theme. In 2026, spending this much money should mean fewer headaches, not more service appointments. Number 9. Volkswagen Tiguan. The Volkswagen Tiguan in 2026 carries a starting price close to $33,000, and that figure alone suggests it should offer solid dependability. The reality is far less convincing. Reliability has been a long-running issue, with owners frequently reporting transmission troubles, turbocharger failures, and electrical problems that show up well before they should. These are not minor annoyances, they are expensive repairs that can quickly drain your wallet. Maintenance costs on the Tiguan tend to run higher than average, and parts are rarely cheap. Even routine fixes often cost more than buyers expect, making ownership feel like a slow financial leak. Long-term durability is another weak point. Many drivers experience repeat issues, which kills confidence and turns a daily vehicle into a constant worry. Depreciation hits hard as well. After a few years, resale value drops sharply, and owners are left absorbing the loss. For an SUV marketed as practical and sensible, that kind of value slide makes little sense. This is exactly why the Volkswagen Tiguan lands in the SUVs only stupid people buy category. In 2026, spending this many dollars should buy peace of mind, not recurring problems. For buyers who care about reliability and long-term value, the Tiguan is an easy skip. Number 8. Mitsubishi Outlander. The Mitsubishi Outlander enters 2026 with a starting price around $32,000, and on paper that sounds like a safe buy. In real ownership, it often turns into a regret. Reliability has never been its strong point, with repeated complaints about engine strain, drivetrain problems, and electrical faults that show up far earlier than expected. These issues are not rare, and over time they chip away at trust. Repair costs can rise quickly once the warranty period fades. Parts availability and service costs make ownership more expensive than many buyers plan for, especially compared to rivals that last longer with fewer issues. The Outlander also struggles with long-term durability. Many owners report problems before hitting 100,000 miles, which is unacceptable for an SUV meant for daily use in the United States. Depreciation is another major hit. The Outlander loses value fast, meaning thousands of dollars disappear when it comes time to sell or trade. That weak resale alone makes the price tag harder to justify. On the road, it never feels confident or solid, and that lack of confidence becomes obvious on longer drives. When reliability, resale value, and ownership costs all fall short, the math stops making sense. That is why the Mitsubishi Outlander fits perfectly into the SUV's only stupid people buy theme. In 2026, spending this kind of money should bring dependability, not constant doubt about what might break next. Number 7. Buick Envision. The Buick Envision in 2026 starts at roughly $37,000, and that price puts it in a risky spot. At this level, buyers expect solid reliability and low-stress ownership, yet the Envision has struggled to deliver both. Ongoing complaints around engine reliability, transmission behavior, and electronic failures continue to hurt its reputation. These are not isolated cases, they show up often enough to raise serious concerns. Ownership costs are another problem. Repairs are not cheap, and once the warranty window closes, many owners face bills that feel far too high for a compact luxury SUV. Long-term dependability remains questionable, with several issues appearing well before what most American buyers would consider acceptable mileage. Depreciation hits hard as well. The Envision loses value quickly, and that translates into real dollar losses when it is time to sell or trade. Fuel economy does not help much either, staying average while maintenance costs quietly pile up. On the road, it lacks the solid, confidence-building feel people expect at this price. Instead, it often feels fragile, and that feeling only grows as miles add up. When reliability doubts meet high ownership costs, the result is simple. This is why the Buick Envision earns its place in the SUV's only stupid people buy list for 2026. It asks for premium dollars, but delivers long-term headaches instead. Number 6. Jeep Grand Cherokee. The Jeep Grand Cherokee heads into 2026 with a starting price near $42,000, and that number alone sets high expectations. Sadly, reliability continues to be its biggest weak spot. Owners have long reported engine problems, transmission failures, and electrical issues that appear far too early for an SUV in this price range. These are not cheap fixes, and repeat visits to the service center are common. Long-term ownership costs tell an even worse story. Once the warranty period runs out, repair bills can spike quickly, turning the Grand Cherokee into a financial drain. For many American buyers, this SUV ends up costing far more than planned over just a few years. Depreciation hits hard as well. Despite the well-known name, resale value drops faster than expected. That means thousands of dollars disappear when it is time to sell or trade. On the road, it often fails to feel durable or trustworthy, especially as mileage builds. Suspension and drivetrain complaints only add to the frustration, making ownership feel risky rather than reassuring. An SUV should reduce stress, not create it. This is why the Jeep Grand Cherokee fits cleanly into the SUV's only stupid people buy theme for 2026. When you pay this much and still worry about breakdowns and resale losses, the deal simply does not make sense. Number 5. Nissan Pathfinder. The Nissan Pathfinder in 2026 starts around $40,000, and that price puts it firmly in the space where buyers expect solid reliability. This is where the Pathfinder falls apart. Over the years, it has earned a shaky record for long-term dependability, with frequent complaints about transmission issues, drivetrain problems, and electronic faults showing up earlier than they should. These are not cheap repairs, and they tend to repeat. Ownership costs rise fast once the warranty period ends. Many owners report spending far more on repairs than they planned, which makes the Pathfinder feel like a poor value almost immediately. Fuel economy is also nothing special, so running costs stay high month after month. When an SUV fails to balance purchase price and daily costs, it becomes a burden instead of a solution. Depreciation is another weak spot. The Pathfinder loses value quicker than many rivals, which means real dollar losses when it is time to sell or trade. That hurts buyers who thought they were making a safe, practical choice. On the road, it often feels less durable than expected, especially as miles add up. That lack of confidence is hard to ignore. This is exactly why the Nissan Pathfinder belongs in the SUV's only stupid people buy list for 2026. It asks for big dollars, but gives too many reasons to regret the purchase. Number 4. Chevrolet Equinox. The Chevrolet Equinox for 2026 starts at roughly $31,000, which makes it look like a sensible buy at first glance. The problem shows up once ownership begins. Reliability has been a long-running concern, with many owners dealing with engine troubles, transmission issues, and electrical failures far earlier than expected. These problems are not rare, and they often return even after repairs. For an SUV aimed at budget-focused buyers, repair costs can be surprisingly high. Once the warranty period is over, service bills start stacking up, turning what seemed like a safe choice into an expensive mistake. Fuel economy is only average, so there is no real savings on daily running costs either. Over time, the Equinox quietly drains more dollars than buyers plan for. Depreciation hits especially hard. The Equinox loses value quickly, and that hurts the moment it is time to sell or trade. Thousands of dollars disappear, making the low starting price feel misleading. For American buyers who care about long-term value, this is a serious drawback. On the road, it often feels underbuilt and less durable than competitors. As mileage increases, confidence drops, and reliability worries take over. An SUV should feel dependable year after year, not like a gamble. That is why the Chevrolet Equinox clearly fits into the SUV's only stupid people buy theme for 2026. It attracts buyers with a lower price, but pays them back with reliability concerns and weak resale. Number 3. Infiniti QX80. The Infiniti QX80 rolls into 2026 with a price tag starting around $75,000, and at that level expectations are sky high. The problem is that reliability has never matched the price. Owners often report engine stress, suspension failures, and ongoing electrical problems that show up earlier than they should. These are serious issues, not small annoyances, and repairs are costly every single time. Maintenance costs on the QX80 are steep. Even basic service visits can feel overpriced, and once larger problems appear, repair bills can climb into uncomfortable territory fast. Fuel economy is another weak point. This SUV drinks fuel at a rate that hurts, especially with current gas prices in the United States. Depreciation is brutal. Despite the luxury badge, the QX80 loses value quickly, and resale numbers drop harder than most buyers expect. On the road, it feels heavy and outdated, and as miles add up, confidence drops. Reliability concerns hang over ownership like a warning sign. An SUV at this price should feel dependable, not risky. That is why the Infiniti QX80 earns its spot in the SUV's Only Stupid People Buy list for 2026. When you pay luxury-level dollars and still face reliability worries and massive value loss, the deal simply does not add up. Number 2. Land Rover Discovery. The Land Rover Discovery arrives in 2026 with a starting price hovering around $57,000, and that number already puts it under a microscope. For that kind of money, reliability should be a given, yet the Discovery has a long history of letting owners down. Engine faults, suspension failures, and constant electrical issues are widely reported, often showing up far earlier than expected. These are not small fixes, they are expensive problems that repeat. Ownership costs quickly spiral out of control. Repairs are costly, parts are not cheap, and service visits tend to be frequent. Once the warranty coverage fades, many American owners find themselves spending thousands of dollars just to keep the SUV running properly. Depreciation makes the situation worse. The Discovery loses value at an alarming rate, and resale numbers fall hard within just a few years. Paying close to $60,000 and then watching the value collapse is a painful experience. On the road, it often feels unreliable and unpredictable, especially as mileage builds. Confidence drops quickly when warning lights and repair visits become part of normal ownership. This is exactly why the Land Rover Discovery fits the SUV's Only Stupid People Buy theme for 2026. Number 1. Nissan Armada. The Nissan Armada heads into 2026 with a starting price around $56,000, and that makes its flaws impossible to ignore. At this level, buyers expect strong reliability, yet the Armada has a long record of mechanical issues. Engine problems, transmission concerns, and repeated electrical faults show up far too often for an SUV meant to handle long-term family duty. These are expensive fixes, not minor inconveniences. Maintenance costs only make things worse. Once warranty coverage ends, repair bills climb quickly, turning ownership into a constant drain on the wallet. Depreciation is brutal. The Armada loses value faster than most full-size SUVs, which means a big chunk of your money disappears the moment you decide to sell or trade. Paying over $50,000 and watching resale value collapse is a hard lesson many owners learn too late. On the road, the Armada feels heavy and outdated, and as miles add up, confidence drops. Reliability doubts never fully go away, which defeats the whole point of owning a large SUV. That is why the Nissan Armada sits at number 1 in the SUV's Only Stupid People Buy list for 2026. It demands big dollars, drinks fuel, loses value fast, and gives back very little peace of mind. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.